up. That's really good.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah, I
yeah.
quarantined in the RV my first couple weeks here, and now I just come here to record.
So, have you done some more recordings, like remote stuff for people?
Yeah,
Tabla.
I did some tabla for a guitar player named Mitch Chandler in Austin, um, up and coming classical guitar jazz guy. Um,
Cool. So, if you just joined us on Facebook or YouTube, I'm interviewing my good buddy Jason Mckenzie, who has relocated to Florida, and we're doing remote recording. So he put down some amazing tracks on the Come Together cover. We kind of recreated the song, which is what we love to do in Strings Attached. We love to take the original and reimagine it. And a lot of times people come up and say, wow, I've never really heard that song before. I never heard the lyrics, because there's something that's a little different that kind of makes them listen to it differently. So, and for years I've had Jason, he's played on our Led Zeppelin, all these different rock shows, and one of the things that we used to say was like, where are we going to put the tabla solo? We'd turn back and like, let's break that down for a tabla solo, and the audience would go crazy because a lot of people have never heard the tablas in that context, you know. So I remember going back all the way to St. David's Church, you know, with Tashina Hosa and all these different artists, you know, just
yeah,
in the tabla. One of the problems, or one of the challenges I remember, was how to make it work with bass. So for years with Strings Attached, I would say, you know, no bass, drop out, because you've got like on the conjura, you've got the bass,
yeah,
and then you also, yeah. So in traditional Indian music, you don't have a bass, you know. So you
right,
had to deal with that in Atash too, right? Because you
right.
eventually had a bass player. Now on this track, Come Together, which we did, I ended up adding the upright bass, and so it worked really well with the conjura because that was imitating the drum set, and I had to do some really interesting wizardry to make that conjura sound like a drum kit. It was fun because when it first started, I was like, "How are we going to do this?" So
Yeah, I find the acoustic bass doesn't quite interfere as much as an electric bass.
it doesn't. I know
Yeah,
something about the sound sort of like hit the note and it backs away, so it gives
yeah,
more space, right, for the
right.
two to sort of coexist together.
Yeah,
I was amazed that we had Alex Brown play bass on Come Together, and the sort of the commingling of all the acoustic instruments. Well, Dave plays electric guitar and did a fantastic job. But I want to get to the tabla. So I'm going to play you a little cut here, a little sample, maybe you can hear it, of you playing this run. And you can. I'm going to try to describe what you did here. Let's see. I don't know if you can hear it. Huh? Huh. Okay, so it's like a little break. Could you hear it all?
yeah.
A little bit? Yeah. So it sounds like you're doing sextuplets in one hand and then eighths in another. Is that right? No, but you're like bump.
30-second notes, I believe.
Yeah, so we had the conjura going there at the same time. So we got the bump, 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 which is the original bass drum from the Come Together. And then you got the. So there's an example of, you know, that's your training, like you were talking about in India, where you can execute these rhythms. Now they don't learn it like classical musicians, do they? They don't talk about 64th notes or 30 seconds, right?
They do talk
And
about subdivisions.
they do.
They have
Okay.
words for it, but yeah, but it's an oral tradition. It's hardly anything is written down, and every technique, every position, finger position has a word, an automata
Oh
or
wow.
word
So
that
then you
sounds
can like give me an example of that. Can I hear the words?
na, te, te, tum, ga, and I think on that fast run, I was going datigina, 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 datigina,
Okay, so
datigina.
it was 64ths then.
Yeah, 64 to 30 seconds.
Like one unit, two unit, one unit, two unit, that right.
Yeah,
And then so what we did on this piece is we started off with a conjura, and about halfway through added the tabla almost as a verse featuring the tabla. So since there's no lyrics on this song, and so the very last verse is like a kind of a solo for the tabla over the conjura, and you can kind of hear the melody happening in the background. So I thought that kind of worked really well. the tabla and the conjura come together, and they rock out just like on the original.
Together.
Yeah, they just come together. Exactly, they come together. So I thought it worked really well, and the two instruments came together great. And thanks for coming on for
Yeah.
this review, and appreciate you playing on it. And we're going to see much more of Jason. Oh my God,
Oh, someone's calling you.
why is Mary calling me? Mary from the Blues Club. What's her name?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Hold on.
Antones.
Yeah, let me get this. Hey, Mary, can I call you back? It's Will. Did you call me?
Oh, hey, Will. It didn't ring at all. How are you?
Hey, good. Can I call you back?
Of course.
Awesome. I'll be right back.
All right.
Thanks. Okay, that's the owner of the what's it called? The Skylark Lounge.
Skylark Lounge,
Lounge. Yeah. Anyway,
Great place.
great place. So give us a little. So anyway, I would tell Jason, just play a solo, and he would say, "Give me a note." Okay, it's in D. What is this in? Which you have right here.
This
Do
is
you know?
D. Yeah.
D. Okay. So give
Yeah,
me an
tune.
example of like I'm gonna tell him like something 4 to 8 bars with a T high, right? To play us out.
All right.
Put him on the spot here.
Not quite warmed up, but sure. All right.
Just a little bit.
Is that long enough?
Was that a T high at the end?
Yeah.
So what is a T
Phrase
high?
of the T high is how melodic players and tabla players end their solos in classical Indian music. It's an interesting formula of 3 phrases, and the phrases are exactly the same. And
Okay.
the 2 spaces in between, and the length of those spaces have to be exactly the same to each other. And the very last note, the last beat, last note of the phrase has to end on the 1. Indian music is all about cycles.
Nice.
So there's constantly a cycle of 10 or 16 or 7,
Okay.
14.
Okay. So it's a 3. There's 3 phrases.
Yeah.
They're pretty much they are identical.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you say there's a cycle for the one, so it could be a 24 beat cycle. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then you're going to
But
divide that.
their most
Okay.
common is 16.
Okay.
But
So
they get into.
So you take the 16 beat cycle and divide that into 3. Is that what you're talking about? No, wait, 3 sections. Divided into 3 sections.
Yeah, and I should also add it can
Equal.
start anywhere.
Oh, okay.
The T high can start anywhere. It doesn't have to
Cool.
be from the beginning of the cycle to the next beginning of the next cycle. Though there are T highs like that, but
Right.
it can start anywhere.
Yeah, and you did one on my original tune. I thought was really nice that we did. That's another song that we're gonna have you on coming up soon. All right. Well, any thoughts on this? One of the things that the song for me is really interesting is the lyrics are extremely bizarre, and it's kind of the last line is of each of them is the only one that makes any kind of sense. So you got to be a joker. He just do what he please. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Hold you in his armchair. I don't know if that's correct. You can feel his disease. But like, do you have any idea what is toe jam football? What do you think that means, Jason? You have any idea?
No idea at all. I just know that they were, it was the 60s. They were getting into LSD, and Bob Dylan had a big influence on everybody with the stream of consciousness, and so did On the Road guy. What's his name?
Oh yeah, Jack Kerouac.
Jack Kerouac. Just
Yeah.
putting words out there, but there was, some psychedelic experimentation going on.
And just the raw the sound of words didn't have to mean anything. It's just the rhythm, words being used as rhythm, and yeah. So, well, thanks for being on, buddy.
Yeah.
Jason Mckenzie, check out Atosh. Anything else that out there, the viewers that on?
I have a new band called Emora. We are still working on our debut album, and this quarantine has kind of messed with that. But yeah, Emora, Emora. There's a Facebook page for it.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Will.
That was it.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm glad you're in a safe place.
Yeah, I'm actually